Hey there, back to the video again. Again, this video we're gonna talk about the imposter syndrome and a kind of extension to the last part of the Habit book, what they have been covered in the last part of the book. All right, now if you're really interested to learn more about the book, or if you want to read it and you have enough time for the resource, you can go to the resource tab over here, and right over here you can see the Atomic Habit ebook. So this has the complete ebook. You don't have to pay for it at the moment, and yeah, you can come back here. So what I told in the last video is exactly what it has been covered in the first half of the Atomic Habit book. Now what I will be doing is like covering the second half. So why this is because at the end of the session, if I put this at the end of the session, you won't be able to have enough motivation to listen to it. So as you have started a new course right moment, so this is the time where you can learn some theories before we heading start into it. For example, over here we are talking about dopamine. So we all know what is dopamine is all about. If you want to go a trip in the morning, you get too excited about it, and you tend to wake up the time so early, which you were planning to do, long time for your regular activities, right? So dopamine is one thing which plays a crucial role in your head and your brain, and this affects how you behave, how you act, and how you develop interest towards something. And as I told you, job hunting is not something which kicks you dopamine unless and until you have 15-10 years experience and people reach out to you. So that's not the case. I believe like most of my students or the people who listening to it, right, are the early careers people. For you it would be very challenging to get land on your first job. All right, so we'll come into this. So, what exactly this is all about? So, dopamine spikes are not just pleasurable moments, but it's also an anticipation, like driving us to act. So, how we can develop the dopamine on our job hunting thing? So, that's the question which we have right now. So, another thing is like how to use this temptation building, right? So, for example, if you combine the activity which you really like, for example watching Netflix while you working out, so that's something you can handle this temptation, right? So it also kicks you the dopamine, and it also kicks you a workout pleasure. So it has been combined. So what I'm trying to do is combining the job hunting part and the dopamine part, where you learn and improve your personal branding along with your job hunting. So at the end of the day, you will be having a job in your hand and amazing profile where you can utilize that to develop your personal brand or your own personal domain or whatever it is. So I'm trying to teach you how to use this temptation building and how to um, bundle this temptation. So, for example, more predictable behaviors reinforce less probable ones, so making the later more likely to be replaced. So, what I'm trying to do is like slowly, in timeline of 1 or 2 weeks, you will eventually start applying jobs without any further motivation. All right, now let's come into. So this, I'm not introducing you this tool at the moment. So this is the one of the tool which I'm using. I will be sharing you the link later in the section. So over here, when I go into my archive jobs, you can see a lot of jobs available over here. So I would say if I go into my downloads, job 2025, there should be one more with 2023. All right, so look at this, look at how many jobs I've been applied to get into my first job. So this is crazy level of applying, right? So I don't really think you need to apply this many jobs if you're focusing on your goals and your timeline. So this was happened in the last year, and this is what I did. And all these lectures and all these tutorials is from uh, different resources I have been learned, and different videos I have watched throughout the online content, right? So I'm suggesting you, this is like an extreme level of job application, but of course you need to do maybe half of this kind of motivation to apply for the jobs in your case. That's just for an introduction what I am into and what I'm going to teach you later in the session. Now we have to understand habit formation strategies. So reframing the hard habits by focusing on their positive outcome to make more appealing. So this is what we are trying to do. So which will reduce the friction. So for example, making a good habit is easiest to for example, you can start making a good habit by minimizing the effort it required to be. For example, you can prepare your workout clothes before the night before, which makes it much more easy for you the next day to jump out of the bed and change the costume and go to the gym, something like that. So over here you will see a lot of activities which is like a bad habits, or this is kind of your needs and the respective application, social media application along with it. For example, if you need connection and bonding with each other, we have the Facebook. And if you have any uncertainty, you have Google to search and clear the doubts. For example, for winning acceptance, social acceptance and approval, you have Instagram. Now I don't really say this is like a bad habit, but anything which is overconsumed is a bad habit. Now trust me, when you apply for the job hunting, these all things will come to your mind. You will see how many times you jump into the Instagram, how many times you jump into Facebook, or probably Tinder, or whatever it is. So breaking this bad habit is challenging. So the one way you can do it is make it unattractive. So what I mean by making it unattractive, for example, you can use this particular 2 minutes rule for making it unattractive. For example, as I told you in the last video, try to avoid the distraction. So for example, increase the friction for bad habits to make them less likely to be used. For example, unplug the TV after use. So your temptation to watch the TV again will be difficult. Or keeping the phone in the other room will reduce the temptation to look into your notification every time. Or enable the focus mode on your phone or on your environment would be much more easy for you to do and get started with. Then the another rule which the atomic habits tells you is 2 minutes rule, which is like a stop procrastination. So you can start with a 2 minute version of what you desired. For example, you listen to my this particular course and you want to start a job hunting. You don't know where to start. So the goal of the day one should be something like spend 2 minutes, sit on that for that scheduled time. As I told you in the previous video, you can have a Google Calendar just like this. Schedule your time. Okay, 2 minutes. You're sitting right here this time for networking on LinkedIn and finding the right connection. 2 minutes out of it. On the next day, try to increase that into 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. This keeps going on. So this way you can be keep on track of these things and get started. All right. Awesome. So this is one of the rule which I want to really talk about. Then now I want to you to introduce you into something called Rise. Again, this is like a paid tool. I don't want you to pay for anything in this tool. If you can afford it, then this is one of the best tool outside there. So what it does is like, maybe let me go to the Rise signs. So what it does is like it integrates along with your Google Calendar, and it will tell you, for example, right now you have a calendar right here, and it tells you, okay, this is the time you are pretty much active. Or maybe let me see if there was, I don't use the paid version, I use the free version only. So how it works is like it gives you 7 days for free. You can use the link here to scan and get the app. So how it works is something like very straightforward. It analyzes your sleep. It tells you what day and what day of the time you will be uh, productive, not productive. So based on that, you can arrange your reschedule your priorities. For example, job hunting requires a lot of dedication, and this is my free time. Now I got a notification in my phone saying that, okay, my productivity time is dip time is approaching, and there is like a peak time. So in a day there will be like two peak time and two dip time. So the peak time is the time where you can do something productive task which is pretty much hard to do. So And dip time you can utilize to do some networking or reading or something which is not require a lot of effort from your side. So the link is there in the description. You can go and use this app. Again, I don't recommend you to pay for it. Even the trial is over, try to add the widgets when the free trial is running, and once the trial is over, cancel the subscription. You still get the notification saying that every day without paying, that okay, every day when you wake up, it analyzes your sleep and it will tell you what day of the time you're productive and not productive, and you don't have to pay for it. So this is a kind of hack where you can use this application for free. All right, now this is something called habit tracking. So as I mentioned you before, whenever you do this, either mark in your Google Calendar, or even if you have a notepad or a printed page that works, cross it. Okay, you have done that thing for the day, and do some rewarding and track your habit, how you're spending your time and how you're spending your day. So we will discuss about how to track this habit automatically in the